It's Rachel here. This is the first time I've ever made a video with my new camera, and it's actually a goal of mine, personally and professionally, to make more videos. Which you'd think, well, who cares? Like, everyone does videos, and you've definitely been on video before. Yeah, and to be honest, I'm actually very self-conscious about videos. So it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and create a bazillion reasons why I can't. Like, I don't have the right setup, I don't know how to edit things, I have to, you know, look great in the camera. Anyway, all of this is to say that, shut up, Rachel. Like, make videos. People have wanted them. More to Love and Yourself has got some cool things to reach people that are at home or maybe at work. I won't tell anyone. So I guess I'm just gonna start first by, you know, talking about, you know, why do I personally like yoga? And why do I teach yoga the way that I teach yoga? So I've talked about this a few times before, like my genesis of a yoga story, but really I've been practicing yoga now for 10 years. And a vast majority of those 10 years, so like 5 or 6 of those years, were sort of like in the back of a yoga studio. It took me a while to find a yoga space that I felt comfortable in. And not because like people were overtly like judging me or making me feel uncomfortable. It's just the nature of how yoga looks, how studios look, how other teachers look, how other yogis look, how clothing in yoga is, how classes are run, that if you've got any kind of help with a larger body especially, you're on your own for a lot of it. A lot of teachers just didn't use props and blocks and blankets and straps, and I had to learn the hard way how to make certain poses work for me, work for my belly, work for my body. But the reason why I personally love yoga so much is that I feel great when I'm doing it, obviously, but really afterward. So all my life, and I really don't know why, it's just like, I think it's just my body. I've always been a pretty sore person. Like, I have a lot of muscle soreness and tenderness, and even as a kid, I remember like constantly stretching my legs because my legs just would hurt. So yoga definitely helps keep me moving, keeps me open, keeps me going. I don't think there's a day that's gone by, maybe not like a full yoga class or full yoga, you know, session, certainly not. Like, I stretch every day, whether that's just simple, you know, up, down, doing these little lunges. Some of my colleagues that I work at Harvard, you know, they're like, oh, it must be in the afternoon, Rachel's doing her stretches. Sometimes they come and hang out with me to do it. But I really like how yoga makes me feel, and feeling good is super important to me. The other thing that I like about yoga is that I feel strong when I'm doing and learning new poses. I feel very connected to my body, and that was something that was really hard to do for me for a very long time. I definitely lived from the head up, and yoga helped me and continues to help me just be more aware of everything that's going on, from my breath, but also like stuff that, you know, just over time I've noticed, like when I'm slouching, when I'm maybe standing a way that I know is gonna maybe hurt my feet later on. It just makes me hyper aware in a good way about what's going on, you know, anatomically and physiologically with my body. But the thing that I have really appreciated yoga the most is, that was like a terrible way to say it. The thing that I have appreciated the most about yoga, it's actually when I'm not doing yoga. It's yoga off of the mat. And, you know, we think about yoga as doing a bunch of movements and poses. They're called asanas. Like, you know, here's a warrior, here's a sun. Like, we think about these, you know, snapshot images of what a yoga pose is supposed to look like. But yoga is actually much, much, much broader and wider and fuller. It's a philosophy. It's a derivative of the Hindu religion. It is a practice that encompasses all of someone's life, meaning that there's a code of behavior, there is a code of ethics, there is a code of how you are with yourself, how you treat other people, a perspective to mind. It's humongous, it is vast, and we just focus on the tiny, tiny, tiny bit of the poses, which, because people can see that. But practicing yoga and getting more involved with it, you can't help but have things trickle off out of the yoga mat, out of the yoga studio. And so, for example, one of the things that I've learned in yoga that now informs a lot more in my life is being more patient. I can get pretty like impatient. I can get very huffy and want things done quickly, but because yoga encourages you to slow down with breath, I noticed that that tendency, that trait has shined off into other areas of my life where, at least for me, I don't get as, you know, frustrated with like standing in line or standing in traffic. I've got more patience. I've got more understanding that like things take the time that they take the time to do. That is also for my body. Like, you know, I don't rush myself, especially if I'm like having like a cold. I take the rest that I need. It just helps me to slow down. There are so many other aspects of yoga that is informed, that has helped inform my life, especially what it means to be connected to a bigger community, to be of service, to be of just a good version or a good model for myself in the world. And those that practice yoga over time, I think, would say very similar things, that like, you know, you got your poses, you got how your body and your breath is feeling, and you know, after that hour or so of practice, your yoga can stop there, but chances are it doesn't. So why do I teach yoga when there are gazillion teachers in the world? Well, I believe that there weren't any teachers that were like me. There weren't any